Hello, this is Michael Loftus for Wealth and Wisdom TV, Loftus Wealth Strategies, and welcome to our latest podcast, seen here, of course, on YouTube, but also available and download on all of the podcasting platforms. If this is your first time here, I'm a practicing financial advisor. We do educational videos, we do podcasts like you're seeing, and also market updates. Latest one up here. So if you like what you see, please do consider subscribing. So first off, March, by the time this video comes out, in the middle of March Madness, wearing my colors. No, not a great year for Villanova, but I would ask you to put a comment below. Who's your team? Who's your pick for national champion this year? I'm going to go with, well, you know who my team is. I'm saying Kansas. I think they're the most complete team. Back-to-back, though, might be tough, but I think they're the most complete team. So this month, as always, let's get started off with Quote of the Month. We have, the best way to teach kids about taxes is by eating 30% of their ice cream, coming from Bill Murray. I think that's a good one. Our son just graduated last year, and he's learning oh too well about taxes, got his first bonus check, and was rather surprised at what was taken out. So, tax time, I figure a little tax joke there. So first up, let's talk about our topic of retirement expenses for which you forgot to plan. Now, for starters, we do financial planning, tax planning, in that we try and go through as many scenarios as possible. Also talk about that being a living, breathing document. It changes. We update it as things do change in your overall picture. Okay, so we try and address a lot of these, but sometimes we do not plan for a couple of the following. First up is medical expenses. Statistically, okay, if you're retiring now, you're going to spend between $200,000 and $250,000 on medical expenses after retiring. Pretty big number, right? Sure, you've got Medicare and some other programs, but there's still a lot of out-of-pockets. Another big one we forget about is dental expenses. I mean, here in Delaware, nobody accepts any type of insurance for dental. It's all out of pocket, okay? You have a crown to be taken care of. That could be awfully expensive. So next up, unexpected travel. How about that destination wedding we forgot about? Maybe you have to go on a prolonged visit to take care of a loved one, right? These are things we need to talk about. Again, in our plan, we do about $10,000 a year in travel expenses just to make sure that we're covered. That can go up or down depending on the individual. Parent or child assistance, okay? So today, right, rising costs, what's going on? Kids are staying home longer, need help from mom and dad. It does happen, okay? Had 3 kids in college last year. Trust me, I know what that's like. But also, maybe you've got some parents that don't have the wherewithal to take care of their medical expenses. And I definitely see this from some of my clients where they're partnering up with, obviously, their siblings and helping to take care of parents that are in homes and have other needs. So that's something we need to put in that plan as well. Next up, taxes. Again, here we are near tax time, right? I think that, let's take a quick look at the federal deficit, right? We're over $33 trillion right now, and eventually they're going to have to take care of that. One of the ways they're going to have to take care of that is taxes, okay? We can't just keep spending without bringing down this deficit, okay? We have the highest debt to GDP level in history. It's getting out of control if we don't take care of it. And taxes is going to be a way they're going to handle that. Maybe inheritance tax, things like that that are not on the books that we see today, okay? Next up, maintenance and repair. Absolutely. For someone who has gone through new HVAC, right? Underneath our house, we had to have that taken care of. Getting close to a new roof. Our deck is probably going to have to be replaced. Now, I'm not retired yet, but these are expenses that come up. And I see this with all our clients. Just had a call last week from a client. They were on the Florida coastline, the west side. They had some damage and need to come up with a certain amount of money to take care of that. So these type of things we don't plan for, okay? So when they do come up, we put them in the plan and see how it does affect the overall picture. Next up, our least favorite topic, which is inflation, okay? So, yes, we have come down, okay? We've come down. We're about 6.4%, but that is still a 40-year high. just reading an article this morning from our research firm, and one of the big issues is food. Food is up 26% alone in the last year. I mean, just massive numbers, from 21. Okay, so, these are the type of things that none of us prepared for, right? And what's happening is you've got your income, your guaranteed income, okay, and then expenses are going up, right? Because you're in fixed income in retirement. So something we have to address, okay, be aware of. Right now, we're not forecasting inflation to come down that 2% target till late 24. It's going to stay sticky for a while. So have to continue to be prepared for that. Let's go to our second topic today. All right, should an advisor tailor a plan to fit your personality, right? Are you tired of a one-size-fit-all financial advice, right? I hear this a lot. Recently met some folks. They're with Vanguard, okay? Vanguard does something that I don't believe in. They take 100 minus your age. There's your equities, right? And I asked them about a plan. There's no plan. They haven't gotten a plan. They said, oh, you're going to be okay. I said, well, what the plan? We got to put something together here. So now, on the personality side, no question, who they are, what we are, everything's tailored. Met with clients just yesterday, updated their plan. Should we get a bigger house here? Thinking about buying a second property, maybe a condo down south, big golfers, right? All that gets fit in and tailored to the individual. But we do have, okay, many types of personalities out there, of course, right? We love all different personalities. So there's a couple that I would like to touch on here. First up, the victim. The victim has been burned and scarred by something in their financial past. Now, I could go on that, but I think to this day, we still hear about Bernie Madoff, especially since there's a documentary right now on Netflix. I was just asked that question, okay? How do I know you're not another Bernie Madoff? Now, obviously, a lot of things have changed since then. There was a lot of things that went wrong there from the SEC and compliance, but, everything today, when you look at a couple things. One, monies are held at a custodian. Ours is Fidelity, so should be held. You never write checks to an advisor or an advisor's firm. You can also look up an advisor, okay? You can go to finra.org or sec.gov and do a search on your advisor and see their background. Is there anything in that background that would make you uncomfortable? So I get it. Some people have been burned in the past. I hear that, whether it's an investment, never heard from them, whatever the case might be, okay? But all that being said, do your due diligence, and there's a lot of good people out there that can help you out. The overanalyzer, that's our engineers, okay? The overanalyzers, right? How do you make a decision? When do you make a decision? Now, I've done a lot of profile tests. I'm a fact finder. You would expect that in what I do, but I don't get bogged down in the facts. Once I have the facts, I'll make a decision. So sometimes when you get to a overanalyzer, you just have to present the facts, and here's the decision we're making and why, okay? But decisions have to be made, right? The do-it-yourselfer. See that a lot because they've been working, right, doing a 401k, wherever that 401k is. You're not really getting advice from an individual advisor. Maybe you have a small plan. I have plans that I handle. I do go out there twice a year and talk to the participants, but you don't get a lot of advice when you're in a 401k plan. And some do-it-yourselfers have always done it themselves, but maybe the account's gotten too big. They don't have a financial plan. They're not sure about things. So this is a tough one, okay? Because a lot of times that's a question I ask. Are you ready to let go? And that's the question. Are you ready to let go? Again, had a question with some new folks last week. He doesn't want to be, they don't want to be burdened with making all these decisions. They just want to retire and enjoy things, right? So you have to figure that out for yourself. If you want to continue to be a do-it-yourselfer, then you're going to have to do it, right? Like I said, for us at financial advisors, right, a lot of things we do that can help simplify, make your life easier, but that's a decision you're going to have to make. The ostrich, right? The ostrich likes to put their head in a hole, okay? So sometimes, and it's not either, right? When it's a couple, could be one, could be the other, but there's always one that doesn't want anything to do with what's going on, doesn't care about the investments, whatever the case might be. Now, our big background, if you know us, what I stick by, I don't know if you can see it behind me, communicate and educate. So what I tell people is, look, you may not understand a lot of things, but I will continue to communicate and educate you on all these different things that are going on, because I want my clients to be aware of exactly what's happening in the markets, what decisions I'm making, and why I'm making those decisions. I think that's really important. That's part of our process. Okay. Also, you get to a point if one spouse passes and that spouse was never involved, that can become an issue. Okay. Again, another reason why I like to make sure that both in a couple are involved. Okay. The odd couple, the odd couple have conflicting views, and I definitely have seen that. One's real aggressive, one's conservative, can't agree, whatever the case might be. Okay. So, I mean, in this case, at the end of the day, I think if you put together a plan, you agree on that plan, right? Markets go up and down. We're seeing that now. Obviously, we've been in a downtrend now for going on 14 months, okay? But that plan, if you agree on that plan, and that's, again, when I was meeting with a couple yesterday, do you agree on these numbers? Are you okay with this? Do you see how this works, right? Stick to the plan, and I think we can get away from any disagreements. The gambler loves to take high risk. Now, I don't really have any of those clients. Not to say that some clients I'll take more risk for them because they can handle risk. They're okay with me buying certain things that have more risk associated with it. Again, the more risk, right, the higher potential for return. Of course, the higher potential for loss. So you have to be aware with that. And in retirement, okay, you don't want to be gambling, okay? Now, I do have some folks who like to keep a separate account to be able to do some of that. Great, go ahead, have at it, okay? But with your retirement dollars, I would not be gambling at all. All right, wrapping things up, let's go to the mailbag. So, first one here from Thomas. We're retiring in 2 years and plan to sell our home and move to the beach. Maybe one of our offices, Bethany Beach, Ponte Vedra Beach, okay? But home values in our neighborhood are still high right now, so I'm wondering if I should sell now and rent for a couple years. Is it a bad idea to rent at this stage in my life? So there's a couple things within this question. One, right now, housing market is kind of spotty. You've got some markets that are definitively broken down, so it's very regional. Markets that are not breaking down are generally beach communities, okay? We're not seeing that. So as far as, selling now, if you're at the high, sure, that's a good time. Now, we do anticipate, and from a research, I was on a call yesterday, we will see home prices come down, but we're hearing 3 to 7%. That's nationally. Again, some markets you might see 15, 20, like Las Vegas and Phoenix, some of these crazy markets just got way overbought and overbuilt as well. Okay, so the next question is about the rent. Again, I think let's go through the plan and see what that looks like. Okay, one, we don't get that deduction anymore. We used to on a mortgage, right? So from a tax standpoint, it's not going to affect you. Okay, you still get your standardized deductions. Okay, so from that standpoint, I'm like, okay, that doesn't make a difference. It depends on what you're going to be, how much that rent's going to be. Are you paying for storage and things like that? Let's take a look at it, see what the plan looks like over the long term. But I don't have an issue with it for a couple years as long as there is an end game in place. Olivia, I just paid my last tuition payment, so my kids are officially off the payroll. Oh, hallelujah. Am I jealous, right? We got one off, 2 to go. Okay? Is it safe to cancel my life insurance at this point? So one, I can't answer the entire question because I don't know the full picture, okay? In a lot of cases when I meet with couples, and if they're younger, you'll get term insurance to cover through those years. God forbid something will happen, and you can take care of those costs. So as far as canceling it, it just depends, right? Let's look at your whole picture. Going back to that financial plan, I seem to bring that up a lot in these podcasts. But what about the long term? So long-term care, life insurance, taxes, passing things tax efficiently. Does it make sense to cancel that? Maybe if it's a term policy, get a permanent policy to take care of future issues like I just mentioned, the long-term care and some other things. So, but that would be on an individual basis, but I would look at your options first before canceling. Last one, Jackson. Is the market going to crash further or farther? Further or farther? I can never get that one. I worry about it constantly. So first off, I hear you, okay? I'm getting those questions now. Like I said, we've been 14 months into a downtrend, okay? So if you watch my most recent video, if you watch us before, I follow what's called market cycles, okay? We're in the one cycle, cycle 4, where we are risk adverse, okay? We try and be as out of the market as we can, although there are some opportunities out there. So our data is telling us that there's more risk coming, okay? More risk to the downside, okay? And because of that, what we're looking for is that true earnings recession. Now, we definitely saw a big drop, okay, from third to fourth quarter, but the drop into this first quarter. So when we start getting those earnings reports after this quarter ends is where we feel we're going to see the next leg. We're about phase 3 of a bear market right now is what we believe. And that's where you're hearing more about the earnings recession and recession in general. No, we're not in a recession today, but something obviously we feel is very possible if we go deeper into this. So do feel we've got some more in this. Not a time to go high beta equities yet. A little more risk adverse for us as a firm, but sign up, subscribe, and you'll know our direction as we go forward. So, hey, thanks so much for watching or listening. Michael Loftus, Wealth and Wisdom TV and podcast. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.